But I mean, again, he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith. The people of Mecca were pagan.
Quran is mentioned, if this book was from other than God, they would have found in it many contradictions.
If a book is without contradictions, that has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them.
That we believe without understanding.
The brother asked a very important question, that most of the scholars say that listening to music, watching movies, and most of the television programs, they're haram. So how can we have fun? Let me tell you, brother, at the outset, that having fun is permitted in Islam as long as the fun is halal fun.
That the standard narrative has holes in it.
The Prophet tells us because Satan or the devil sleeps over our nostrils. Those who oversleep and not pray Fajr on time, Satan urinates in their ears.
I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried. He thought that he was a son of God in the sense that he was specially chosen by God. I think Jesus really did think he was going to be the Messiah, the future king of Israel. I mean, that is, after all, why they crucified him.
Hello everyone, and peace of Christ to all of you. Please invite your friends and let us have some good time together. As you see the title, it says Ya'juj and Ma'juj made Yasir Qadhi leave Islam. Now for sure the Muslim, they will say this is not true, but I have the proof. And we will show it to you on the front of your eyes. Everyone knows that the one who don't believe in what Muhammad said and what the Quran said, he is not a Muslim. He is an apostate. And this is exactly what Yasir Qadhi today we will play for you. By the way, I will have a Skype open soon, and we have a new Skype to use. I don't want to use a Skype actually, but what we can do, I mean, other options, they are still bad. And I'm not using the old Skype no more because I have tens of thousands of people adding me. So what I will do, maybe every year or something, I will delete an account and make a new account, etc. So I don't keep saying those, you know, crazy, people keep adding me. And when we make the Skype only for people who want to call, not people who want to say hello. So today's topic is about Gog and Magog, and Gog and Magog is nothing but a fiction story. Muhammad is a fool as usual, and a foolish man. He say foolish things, and yet he claims it's coming from his God. Yasir Qadhi, he is teaching his students how he look at this story. And he said clearly he believed not in such a story. He did not say maybe, he did not say perhaps. He made it clear, I cannot believe in such a thing. Before we start, all of us, we knew that Muslims, they have many translations, and one of the most famous translation is translation of Yusuf Ali. And you remember how many times I said to you, the Muslim translation is really a joke. And today I'm watching this video and turned to be that Yusuf Ali don't even speak Arabic. And then you ask yourself, those Muslims from Pakistan, how in the world they translate the Quran? The most famous translation, and maybe the first translation ever in English, made by someone who don't speak Arabic. So let us start from here, and then we go to the topic of Gog and Magog. We are showing the video to give a credit, so the Muslims cannot complain about the video. From the Epic Masjid, and we have a link for it in the description to give him a credit. Very good credit. Hey, Yasir Qadhi, we are so happy to have you. So adding hole to the narratives, now we have bigger holes. Muslim translate the Quran, yet they don't speak English. They speak, sorry, Arabic. It's a miracle. Muhammad says stupid things, and Muslim don't. If you start asking questions, you will be in trouble, literally. Let us see what Yasir Qadhi want to say.
Whose impact in the translation was well known. All of us who grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, we know Abdul Yusuf Ali's translation as being the one that had the most impact, even though, long story, but it wasn't very accurate. Number one. Number two, can you believe, this is a completely tangent, Abdul Yusuf Ali couldn't speak Arabic properly. There's another point, he plagiarized.
Did you hear it? What you just said?
Linking it directly to
Abdullah Yusuf Ali, the Muslim scholar from Pakistan, who translated the Quran. He is the same as Muhammad Sheikh Uthman. He don't speak Arabic.
He's a candidate because he ruled over perhaps the largest empire the world has ever seen.
Yeah, we will go now. Let us see. I mean, what the heck? What kind of religion, this religion? A person who translated the Quran, he don't speak Arabic. I mean, how in the world he got the translation done? You know, he don't speak Arabic.
Her name is Alexander, but this is really especially the most famous translator of the Quran of the previous century, Abdullah Yusuf Ali, whose impact in the translation was well known. All of us who grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, we know Abdullah Yusuf Ali's translation as being the one that had the most impact, even though, long story, but it wasn't very accurate. Number one. Number two, can you believe, this is a completely tangent, Abdullah Yusuf Ali couldn't speak Arabic properly. There's another point.
Do you? Here. Do you yourself? Anyway, so this is like just to show you, when we struggle with the Muslim translation, I see things is hard to believe. I mean, they take words, they add sentence, they take verses, they add verses, they translate as they wish, they add things is not there. You know, Allah, he says his two hands, the Muslims say his power. Allah, he says you know, I blow in him. He said Allah, he created him. I mean, the Muslim translation, this is why I say to you, is nothing but a fraud. But today our topic is really bigger than this. This is just a, you know, like spice in the story. He was teaching his students and he want to tell them how things work. And when he starts saying things, it's hard to accept, which means hard to accept for him. He's saying to them, you know what, I don't accept those things. We have the Muslims from around the world start screaming, crying like babies, because they don't want to handle the truth that Santa Claus is real and Allah is not. This is Ali Dawah, the girlfriend of Muhammad Hijab. He is questioning very serious questions for all Muslims, including Yasir Qadhi is responding.
Brain to try to understand these things. How dare you? You don't know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. Why does it always have to be logical?
This isn't normal. This isn't rational.
If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it, if his messenger said that's what it is, that is what it is.
I mean, if you believe this, that's your position. I cannot believe it. I'm just being, I cannot.
If you believe this, I cannot. You believe it? It's okay. Well, I cannot. And we are talking about what? We are talking about the fairy tale stories mentioned in the Quran and in the Hadith. And then Yasir Qadhi, he start telling you how the Muslim, the smart ones supposedly, trying to fix the problem. And he is showing you how stupid they are. By lying to themselves, like they say, okay, well, you know what? Gog and Magog, they are people who exist in this earth. but we cannot find them. Maybe they are under the ground. And then Yasir Qadhi, he says, you know what? I mean, this is what under the ground. I am an engineer. I study. I am, I'm educated. How people they can live for thousands of years without sun, without air, under the ground. And he speak about their numbers. He speak how big in size they are. He speak about that each one of them will have 1,000 child before he die. Every one of them will multiply to 1,000. So we are talking about trillions of people, not billions. A human being, he can multiply. Let us say a Muslim, he marry 4 women, make them 50, 60, 70, 100. We are talking about each one of those of Gog and Magog, and they are not a human. Their description of their ears, they sleep inside their ears, they have ears like a tent, they are so powerful, they are so bizarre, so aggressive, the same as you see in the movie like of The Lord of the Ring. How in the world those people they accept such a garbage? And now because this guy is saying, me myself, I can't accept those stories. The Muslims are going mad.
I find this very difficult to believe.
I'd rather take Allah's text, what Allah said, over my little brain all day, every day.
I agree with Ali Dawah about his little brain, if you have any. I mean, first of all, who are you, you idiot? This Ali Dawah, do he even have high school? I know, like Mimi Hijab, Mimi Hijab, he called himself a philosopher. But how those people, they became scholars, I mean, those people, they are the one who teach. This guy, he spent his life learning about Islam, and he is just a joke too, Yasir Qadhi. So we love Yasir Qadhi. Imagine Ali Dawah, what is his place next to this guy? And I accept what Allah said, not what my little brain said. Well, do you even have a brain? I mean, who in the world is going to believe that there's God who will make your endless private part endless, and as a reward, and who will make a private part of a woman fit for that, which means it's going to be in this tunnel. So obviously you have a little brain. What kind of religion believe that there's God who will give you women have big boobs, and and the ass of the women is 1 mile? What kind of religion will believe that somebody die for the sake of Allah, he will make him an incarnation of being a bird? You are a Hindu, you are not a Muslim. This is what the Hindu they say, like the good karma, bad karma. If you are a good karma, you will become a good animal. So now the Muslim, like today, they killed a Zawahiri. Just today, the another rat was killed from Al-Qaeda. And today, according to Mohammed, the one who died for the sake of Allah, Allah will make him a green bird. So Al-Zawahiri right now, as we speak, he is under the throne of Allah in the chandelier, and he is a green bird. Good for you. Finally, you became a chicken. So when the Muslim they speak about we believe in what Allah said, simply they are practicing something in Islam which is called ask no questions. Like in chapter 5, verse number 51, sorry, chapter 5, 101, the Quran says, ask no questions about things. They are made plain for you. But you ask yourself, okay, if we cannot ask questions about things made plain for us, so we ask questions about what? Things we know what they mean. I mean, have you ever heard of a stupid religion like this? Oh, who you believe, don't ask about things which are made, if they are shown for you, will distress you. Translation, who is this idiot who, Itani, Sahih International, this is another joke. What is this? I mean, this is what the Quran is saying. Yusuf Ali, the donkey who don't speak Arabic, we discover now from the mouth of Yasir Qadhi, he have a better translation than this one. Somebody says Google. At that time, there's no Google, my friend. Oh, who you believe, ask not questions about things which is made plain for you. May cause you trouble, but if you ask about things when the Quran is being revealed, they will be made plain for you. So Gog and Magog, ask no questions about it, because if you ask questions about it, you will go crazy and you will understand that Muhammad is a comedy man. And the verse after it, actually, it says why? Because people who ask those questions, they will leave Islam. If you ask those questions, they will leave Islam. And actually, this is what Yasir Qadhi, he said in the start of his video. Those stories are making a lot of Muslims leave Islam. Literally, they are leaving Islam. You know, each time we ask questions, Islam is dead. Islam can survive by advertising, support of Google, support of Twitter, protecting them, taking our videos down. But don't ask questions. If you ask questions, simply you will leave Islam. And this is what Yasir Qadhi, he is facing, a moment of truth.
Are dealing with the crisis of people leaving our faith, our own children, our own young men and women. And of the reasons why is that we are not answering some of these issues that they bring, and we dismiss them. And I myself have discussed many of these issues with these types of people, and one of them, not the only one, but one of them is Ya'juj and Ma'juj.
So one of the stories made Muhammadan leave Islam is Ya'juj wa Ma'juj. I have the link, by the way, down there. If you want to do editing later, you can add the voice of Yasir Qadhi and what he said. It's really horrible what he said. This guy, he admitted clearly that those stories does not make sense. Those stories are really stupid. How in the world we can believe on those? So this man is really living a struggle, and he is saying, well, if you don't answer, they are leaving Islam. And if you answer the conclusion, they will leave Islam too. It doesn't matter what you say, the story does not make sense. It's stupid. You see, we are not talking about miracle because we cannot question a miracle. Miracle is a miracle. This is why it's called miracle. But this is not a miracle. Those are supposedly a kind of creatures live in this earth, and they dress like, or like to say, you know, they close to humanity. And actually, Muhammad, he think they are the Asian. Imagine. And he named the Turkish as one of them. The Turkish are one of the tribes of Gog and Magog. Obviously, Muhammad, he never saw one Turkish, but he knew some description and he made fun of their look. He is a very racist man, as we know. So now Yasir Qadhi trying to tell the Muslims the problem is really big, and it doesn't matter what we try to do. We cannot reach to an answer.
Faraway land, that the language of those people and the language of Dhul Qarnayn had no middle ground. So Allah is mentioning this is a far-flung civilization from where Dhul Qarnayn came from. So how then did they communicate when there is no language?
Do you remember how many times I asked the question? How the Quran says that when Dhul Qarnayn, which is Alexander the Great, this is a fiction story written by a Christian person from Syria about Alexander the Great, and he called it the man with the two horns. It's a fiction. The stupid Muhammad, he took it, he added to the Quran. So in the story here it says that when Dhul Qarnayn, he arrived to where the sun set. You remember he found where the sun rise too, right? And this is another stupid thing in the story. So Zul Qarnayn, the man with the two horn, he arrived and he found where the sun set, chapter 18, verse number 86. He found the sun set in a muddy, hot, boiling water. And the Muslims, they try to fix it. And they say, no, this is from the perspective. If you remember Zakir Naik, he says, Christian Prince, this is from the perspective of Dhul Qarnayn. Allah did not say that the sun set in murky water. This is from his own citation. And if you go to the sea, you see the sun coming down in the sunset. You think what? You think that the sun is sitting in the water. Zakir Naik, here it says a spring. Spring. What ocean? So how this guy, from his perspective, he saw the sun going in a spring of murky water, muddy water. Actually, it's not even murky, it's boiling, hamia. So the stupidity of the Muhammadan defense is beyond stupidity. I mean, that's why I say always stupidity is amazing. And then, if we go here, this is where Zul Qarnayn, he changed direction. He found where the sun set, and he found near it people. Then he found where the sun rise. So he changed direction until he came to the rising place of the sun. He found it rising in people who we had provide no covering, protection against the sun. This is the translation saying that, not me. And then he says that those people who he met them there, they don't understand the word. You know? Those people don't understand the word. So how Zul Qarnayn he was able to communicate with them? You know? If you read verse number 93, it says, and when he reached between the two mountains, he found beneath them people who don't understand the word. So Yasir Qadhi is saying, how in the world will they communicate? And suddenly they are speaking smart. Those who don't understand the word, who they are savage, suddenly they knew about building a dam. Have you ever heard of somebody savage? He knew how to build a dam. And they are speaking to Zul Qarnayn, the Roman. They are giving him ideas. And here you ask yourself, let us say for the sake of argument, there is a dam we build between us and those people. How that will stop those people from coming to us, or those creatures? Do you understand what I'm saying? Let me go. This story is not even good. It's not even good for the Lord of the Ring. You know, this is like a joke. All right. I'm just looking for pictures, trying to find. Here we go. Let us see. We find here. All right. This is will be good. So look with me. This is two mountains. Two mountains. From one side is going to be the human. The other side is Gog and Magog. What happened to my voice? Okay, I was singing too much, I guess. So, if we build a dam, let us build a dam. Shall we? Let us build a dam. Okay. and they ask him to build it from copper and iron. So it's going to be something shiny. Let us change the color so to make it more visible. So this is the dam, and now he made the bricks made from iron and copper. And let us say this dam was really huge. I mean, let us say it's 20 kilometer high. You know what? 1,000 kilometer high. You know what? It arrived to the moon. But how that is going to stop those creatures from coming to us? The idea itself, which is Allah speaking of, not Zulqarnain, by the way. Allah is the one who's reporting. You see, the Muslim, they might say, Zulqarnain said, no, this is the Quran, Allah speaking. The whole, everything in the Quran is Allah speaking. You know, unless it says Zulqarnain said. But at the end, it's Allah who is reporting the story to Muhammad. So, if those people are from the other side, I'm going to put one of the Gog and Magog in the other side. Let me draw him. I will make him, let us say, what color will be good? Blue. Let us make him blue. So those guys now, they are here behind the dam. Those are his feet. They cannot come to us. That's it, brother. That's it. For thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and they are by trillions. Actually, Yasir Qadhi himself, he will explain to you how huge the number is. He calculated how each one of them is 1,000, and then he said, let us multiply a generation, just one generation, and we will see. So we are talking about trillion of those creatures, who they are very aggressive, and they are digging every day in this wall, trying to make a hole in it in order to get out. And to attack us. The purpose is to attack us. So he said, well, we have the earth, every single inch we have pictures of it. Where those people are? Where we can find them? Where is the dam? And then Yasir Qadhi, he said, and the video is there, you can watch it, take your time. He said, it doesn't matter how even good the structures, we are talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So the structures will not hold. Not to forget to mention that they are digging in it, as I said. Actually, Muhammad, he claimed that during his time, during his lifetime, he woke up, he saw a vision from Allah, and he says, we to the Arab, today such a hole open in the wall of Gog and Magog. So they were able to open a small hole in the time of Muhammad. So Yasir Qadhi is asking very legitimate questions. And actually, I'm really surprised that those are the questions we ask. And always nobody dare to speak about this topic. What happened? Why Yasir Qadhi is talking about it? If we go back to the video, we will see that Yasir Qadhi is putting in the table all the options which Muslims they try in the way of defense to explain how stupid this is story, or to defend it, you know, not to fight it, to defend it. And he made it clear. I mean, those all those stories, they don't make sense. No matter what story, what excuse you try to come with, they don't make sense. All of them. And he said, well, this person, Zulqarnain, he have an almighty, powerful king. He have a civilization even now we don't have. I'm just going through a text to go to the point where, because we can't play the whole video. It's a 1 hour something, you know, 1 hour 17 minutes. So there's a trumpet will be blown first, and then will come out, and I will show you some stories. And then he mentioned Surah Al-Anbiya, verses 92, verses number 97, where Allah he speak about it, and he speak about the Gog and Magog. They are going to attack the human.
Out, and they are going to be pouring down from every single, you know, slope, from every mountain. They're going to be coming. وَقْتَرَبَ الْوَعْدُ الْحَقِّ, and judgment will now be asunder, will now be well close. So Ya'juj and Ma'juj are right before judgment day. This is
so right before judgment day. Yet Muhammad he claimed in his lifetime, that a hole open in Gog and Magog. And by the way, if you do not know, there is tons of hadith about those stories, and they are really stupid and they are really funny. As an example, Gog and Magog, they every day they dig, but when they dig, they open a little hole all day. All of them, they are billions trying to dig a hole in the wall. So at the end of the day, every day, they open a little hole, but it's not enough for them to go through. Then they are tired now. So they say, well, tomorrow we will come back to continue. Second day they come, they will find the hole is blocked again by Allah. And they will keep doing this until the day of judgment. And then the reason Allah is blocking their hole in the wall, because they don't say when they are done for that night, they don't say, Inshallah, tomorrow we will open the hole. Let me find you the hadith so you can laugh. And the funny, those are kuffar, so how they will say inshallah? I mean the story is really stupid. I mean, this guy Muhammad is really mentally ill. How the whole story is saying those who don't believe in Allah, they are kuffar, and then they say inshallah. Let us find the hadith. We found it. Inshallah. Why you didn't say inshallah? I mean, what's wrong with you, Gog and Magog? Shame on you. If you say inshallah from the first day, it's over. Let us do this. Oh boy. By the way, the video about what Allah is made of already is back online. So if you download it, it is there. So as you see here, and this is Sahih Hadith, Muslim cannot say it is Da'if, as usual. Gog and Magog, they dig every day, non-stop, until they see the ray of the sun coming from where? through the wall. Coming through the wall. Wonderful. And the one on charge of them, he will say, okay, well, we are done for today. All right? Yalla. Everybody go to bed. We are done. We are done. Tomorrow, wake up tomorrow morning, okay? So those guys, they go to sleep. Because the one in charge, he tell them, go back and we will dig tomorrow. Then Allah put it back stronger than it was before. If. That's a good story. And they will continue this until their time come, which means when Allah have a plan to open it. Allah want to send them against the people. They will dig until they can almost see the ray of the sun, which they are doing every day for eternity, for tens of thousands of years. Then the one who is in charge of them, he will say, go back and we will dig it tomorrow if Allah will. Like, what the heck? Those are kuffar. They don't believe in Allah. How now they are saying if Allah will? And now, brother, because he said if Allah will not fix the hole. That's it. So they will say, okay, if insha'Allah, and they speak Arabic, by the way, then they will come back to it, and it will be as they left it before, which means the night before. So they will dig, and they will come out to the people. Yay, finally we are out, finally, you know. Oh boy. Oh. So this is what the Muslims, they are struggling with. The lies of Muhammad, it's beyond imagination. And then those people who they are coming in the day of judgment, what is their weapon? Arrows. They will shoot their arrows toward the sky, and they will come back with the blood on them. Me, look at the high tech, brother. They shoot, they kill, and the arrows come back to them with the blood. Me. And then when they arrive to Mecca and Medina, they try to do the same, but no way. The Muslim actually, they collect their arrows and they use it for firewood for 7 years, brother. Now this is in different hadith, different reference, but this is the reference for those who they are seeking. As you see, this is sahih. The Muslim, they cannot say this is false. I want to get one of their arrows, you know. I go hunting, I shoot the arrow, I kill the deer, the arrow come back to me with the blood of the deer. That's nice. 0, and the mission is lost. The bullet come back to you, to your magazine. All the bullet you shot, but in this case they are arrows, they come back and they go inside your magazine automatically, and there are blood. There's blood on them to show them, you know, we killed the guys, okay? Alhamdulillah. So this is what we are dealing with, and this is what this poor guy, Yasir Qadhi, is suffering from. And each time this guy, he said the truth, even though he's a big fat liar, by the way, the Muslims go crazy. The Muslims literally go not. They don't want to hear the stupidity of this religion. And this is during the time of Alexander the Great, brother.
But temporarily. The Muslims, by the way, ruled over the largest for the longest period of time. But that's a different thing. Alexander, for a period of time, had more, but it fizzled out with his death.
The funny is, Alexander the Great is a bisexual, which means he is a homosexual. And suddenly Muhammad, he made him a prophet of Allah. I mean, isn't that amazing? That is telling you the whole story. Let us continue. I mean, the video, by the way, it's in the link in the description. You watch it and die laughing. You can take notes. They don't know even those creatures are what exactly. You know, the Muslim, they keep guessing what kind of creatures they are.
They seem to be a race that is barbaric, killing, looting, plundering, and Dhul Qarnayn, who has never met them, is sympathetic that these people are bad.
Yeah, did you ask yourself, how's Dhul Qarnayn? He do what those people want? What if they are lying? He never met them. He never saw them. He assumed right away they are bad. So he sympathized with them. Okay. Let us continue. I'm just skipping the videos. Just, you know, just, I mean... okay. What the hadith of the Prophet said?
Is saying the quantity of Ya'juj and Ma'juj is astronomical.
Astronomical. This is a word I do not know. Thank you, Zakir Naik, Yasir Qadhi, baby son of Zakir Naik. Astronomical. I will use this word from now on, and each time I speak about Zulkarnain and Gog and Magog, say it again. I just learn a word from you. What? They are what? They are astronomical.
What is the statistical chance of us winning? And so the Prophet ﷺ said, I give you good news. For every one of you, there will be 1,000 of Ya'juj and Ma'juj. So this hadith, which is in Bukhari, is saying the quantity of Ya'juj and Ma'juj is astronomical, beyond what we can even comprehend. Hadith in Sahih in Musnad Imam Ahmed, that the Prophet ﷺ said that you complain that there is no enemy. Some of the younger Sahaba are wanting to have a fight. You're complaining.
Yeah, they are killer criminals, you know, they want to kill. Hey, send us, you know, the dogs have rabies. Send us to want to kill. You know, Winston Churchill, he says, Islam like a rabies for dogs. So what is the number really of Gog and Magog? Let us see where he mentioned them. Because he started calculating the numbers for you. I'm just reading the script. What a crazy cult.
Hurairah narrates that every single day Ya'juj and Ma'juj try to dig out. And every day they are met with an angel. And the angel tells them, enough for today, go back.
What the heck? Now he's an angel. You see the guys, you see the stupid religion? Didn't we just show you the guy in charge? Didn't we just show you Muhammad saying the guy in charge? Suddenly this guy is an angel. It turned to be that the one in charge of Gog and Magog, the evil ones, he's an angel. Look here, it says, this is what Muhammad said. and the one in charge of them say, well, he is one of them, and he is in charge of them. How in the world he became an angel, and why the angel is taking the side of Gog and Magog? Aha! So Allah, he made one of them, he looked like them, but he is an angel. And he made him Capitan. You know? In the Ottoman army. Aman Rabbi Aman. I am in the Capitan in the Ottoman army. Aman. I mean, this story is getting even more better and better. It turned to be that this guy is an angel and he is fooling them. They dig, they dig, they dig, and then when they arrive almost to come out, they say, okay, Aman Rabbi Aman, let us go to sleep, Aman, we come back tomorrow. Then Allah, he fixed it at night. They come back in the day, second day, and look at those people. They don't ask themselves, didn't we open it yesterday? They don't ask themselves, like, what happened? Like yesterday we opened a hole, what happened? No, they start digging as if nothing happened. I'm very old. I'm very old. And then he described for you how powerful they are, how nobody can fight them. The Christian cannot fight them. The Muslims, nobody can fight them. Nobody, brother. Okay? But then, do you know, guys, who can fight them? The Messiah, brother. The Messiah. Do you know, guys, how the Messiah will kill them? Anyone knows? How the Messiah will kill them? Who knows? Nobody knows? Okay. Well, you see, we talk about chemical weapon. Chemical weapon, right? So Allah, when the Messiah he come, the Messiah come with like special weapon, brother. He will kill the devil. He will kill the Dajjal, the false Messiah, and he will destroy Gog and Magog. But he will kill them by gas. Yes, brother. Chemical weapon. Can you believe it? The Messiah is going to use chemical weapon? Takbir. That is so good to be true. Let me see if I can find the hadith. Hold on, give me a second. Where we can find the hadith? Oh boy. I mean, this garbage religion is really unlimited, the most obvious, the most stupid, the most hilarious cult. Everything about it is the most. Let me see, hold on. Okay, let us see if I can find you. You see, finding the hadith for me, it's very easy, but find it in English. This is the hard part. You know, this is why we struggle with doing what we do, and yet nobody cares really. You see, I was saying to myself, I'm not going to go. I mean, a Muslim kid, he make a video, he have 70,000 views. We put all the effort, with all the knowledge, with all the truth, and those Christians, they don't even share our videos. They don't even give a like. The previous video I made, Is it really worth 14,000 after a few days? Few days? We are working here to save generations. And people, they are coming here just for fun. Just to laugh at the stupid Muhammad. They don't care really. Those Christians, they don't care of supporting the truth. They are coming here for entertainment. But I care for the Muslims and I want to save them. And I care for your children and I want to save them. Even though you don't care. So when the Messiah come down, let me see. I'm just trying to find. Okay. Let us see if we can find this one. Well, I cannot find it in English, so what we will do, we are going to look for it in Arabic and use Google Translation. What we can do. Here, let us see. I'm trying to get the reference. Well, you know, sometimes like the internet doesn't help you much, so we will use what we have. I found the reference, but I wanted to find like official. Let us see this one. All right, we will use this one. This is a website we used many times before. And this is official Muslim website too. So here, this is Islam web, islamweb.net, and this is the fatwa number. Fatwa is like supposedly it's a holy opinion from unholy people. So here the topic is the coming of the Isa. Muslim, they call him Isa. We do not know who's Isa, but most likely Isa is the wrong name Muhammad he got, thinking that Maryam, the sister of Aaron, she have a son, his name is Isa or Isa. And Muhammad he think, this is why in the Quran, Muhammad he called Maryam, the sister of Aaron, that she is the mother of Jesus. But in fact, she had nothing to do with Maryam or Mary, the mother of Jesus. So this is the number of the fatwa, and here it says, somebody is asking, what will happen when Isa come? What will happen exactly in the end of the time? So here it says that when the Messiah come, let us see where is the statement. Here we go. So when Allah, he will send the Messiah, and he will send him next to the white minaret, which is in Damascus, in the east of Damascus, which is a a very well-known area, and describing, and he will come, he will have two hands, his two hands, upon the two angels, and they are putting their head down underneath of him. And here you ask yourself, I mean, are you talking about Jesus the prophet or Jesus the God? Why he is coming in two hands, two angels? He have his two hands on their wings, and they will land and their head down. And then it says, a wind will come with the Messiah. Anyone who will smell this wind, he is a kafir, he will die. And that wind will not kill anyone except the kuffar, which means the one who don't believe in Islam. Let us use Google translation. And now here we go to the word wind for easy find in English. Here we go. So when the Messiah he come, and he will come with the wind, and when people they breathe this wind, every person in this earth, he is not a believer, he will die. And that will cause the destruction of Gog and Magog. So even the story of Gog and Magog, nobody can stop those creatures except Jesus. How? He will use chemical weapon. Let me pause the link for you. Even though I believe many of you don't even deserve to be here. A Muslim stupid kid, he make a video, Ali Dawah, he get 300,000. Sheikh Uthman, he don't even speak Arabic. None of them he knows his religion. And our video, which is priceless, we got 13,000. And then people, they will say to me, it's YouTube targeting you. I believe the one is targeting me is the Christians. They don't care. They want everything for free. This is the link. Save it in case later you need to prove a point. So later you don't ask me where we can find it. I just gave you the link. So as you see, the whole story is really fictions. It's a stupid. It's a clear proof that Muhammad is mentally ill. The Jews, they got Muhammad busted again and again. They come to Muhammad. They said to him, tell us about Zulqarnain. Muhammad, he have no answer. He do not know what to say. So he went home and he started searching. At that time, there's no Google, but there's slaves who they are captured from Iraq, and the Quran mention about them. They are Assyrian. And Muhammad, he was sitting with them, and he used to sit with them, and there's Salman al-Farisi too. So they told him about the story. And Muhammad, because he's a fool, he took the story as it is, and he put it as he claimed it is coming from his God. This idiot, he do not recognize that this is a fiction, stupid story made for fictions, for fun. This is how stupid this man is. And actually, I'm really grateful for having those stories in the Quran and in the Hadith. Because even though those stories exist there, still there are some donkeys don't want to see that Islam is stupid. Islam is false. And now don't tell me this is about miracle. We are talking about creatures who they are exist, not miracle now. We are talking about people who they are their numbers by trillions, not by billions. Yet we cannot find a single one of them. And we are talking about a dam will stop them from coming out. Actually, I did not finish my topic speaking about this dam. Because additional stupid part of the story is, if we build a dam between us and them, that will not stop those people from coming to us. They can go around the dam. The one who made such a stupid story assuming that those mountains are cutting the earth two pieces, and the earth is a flat, and those mountains extend all the way to the end or the edge. Do you understand? Because, so what if we build a dam? Well, they can't go around it. They can't climb the mountain. I mean, as long as they are so aggressive and so crazy and so barbaric, how a dam is going to stop them? We have a huge a dam in USA. What they call it, guys? The dam in USA, the one in the Grand Canyon? Colorado Dam, right? Let me go there, hold on. I mean, this dam is really scary. And the river of Colorado is scarier. I mean, maybe you see it in picture, but in reality, it is something. So let us say we build a dam like this. We build this dam, which is extremely high, extremely powerful, extremely big. And those people still, they can go around it. However, dam, okay, thank you. So I'm not too much educated with America, because as you know, my cousin Ibn Battuta is a very famous Muslim historic and geographic channel person. He went around the world and he taught me everything except about this dam. And he went and he found an island full of women, and the women there, they have a 3 breast. This is the famous, the most famous, the Muslims are proud about him, Ibn Battuta. The most famous. I mean, this guy is, isn't it obvious this guy is a scam? He found an island, all women, all the island there is women, and they have a 3 breast. I want to go there. I'm sick of 2 breasts. I mean, enough is enough. It's time for change. So Ibn Battuta, brother, is the same as Muhammad. His lies is bigger than the Hoover Dam. I mean, just think about it. You know, I mean, I know some of you, excuse me, if you are under the age of 71, leave the room. Okay? Just, this is for adult only. I mean, this is very thin. I'm trying to save ink, you know. I mean, inflation is doing a lot. Thanks to the president, you know the thing. President, you know the thing, he made even the ink disappear, not only the water. So those are the women Allah will promise us. They have 2 breasts and 2 nipples. Okay, I mean, this is really stupid. 2, what you would do with 2? I have 2 hands, I have 2 feet. What if I want to play with the 4? So Ibn Battuta, brother, he found an island where women, they have a 3 breast. And I am hoping that if I dig more behind the dam, I will find women have more breast. And imagine, you know, I mean, even if the flood of Noah come again, I'm not going to be worried. I will hold one of those women breast and I will be floating. They're big, by the way. I mean, we are not talking about normal breast size. They are so huge. As you remember, the Quran even described how big the women in the heaven, their ass is 1 mile. So imagine if the ass is 1 mile, the boobs will be what? Like, hello, at least half mile, each one of them. You know, you can imagine, brother, a lot of milk is coming for free. Yeah, because Allah, He feed her from the buffet, and you know, alhamdulillah. So if we build a dam, and now those Gog and Magog behind the dam, how in the world, even if this dam is exist until now, that will stop them from coming? Any Muslim can tell me? We built a dam between two mountains. This is a dam between two mountains. Very huge, very deep. I used to go there, by the way, when I was like 80 years old, and I used to jump from the top, just do diving, free diving, you know. True story, by the way, Sahih Bukhari. And if you ask for witness, I mean, how come no Muslim asked Muhammad for witnesses? He went to the seventh heaven in the top of a flying donkey. He came back in a few hours when the Quran says it take the angel 1,000 years to go and 1,000 years to come back. And nobody asked for witnesses. So please don't give me a break. No witnesses, because I'm a very private person. Don't you see I don't open a camera? Is that telling you the story? Okay. So I used to go jump there. And actually, I remember I used to have a girlfriend. She had 3 boobs. You know, and we used to have a lot of fun, you know, but then like once we jump and like one of her boobs went flat, and now the poor lady, she have 2 boobs. Alhamdulillah, we took her to the mosque and we did read Quran over the flat boob, and now her boob is coming back, it's growing, you know. Yeah, we put Quran in it, we put a lot of same things, you know. We don't burn the Quran, eat the Quran. Well, it's going to, yeah, anyway. So what this story is about? We build a dam, and now this dam is going to stop those people from coming to us. Who in the world want to? I mean, this is the Quran, this is the Hadith, this is, they cannot deny it, and this is what Yasir Qadhi is saying. We cannot deny that this is the Quran saying that. And yet there is people, they believe in such a stupid religion, if we can call it a religion. You have to be mentally ill. So this guy, Qadhi, is struggling, trying to say, well, we cannot find a solution for this. And after hearing him for an hour and 17 minutes, you will see he will, in the conclusion, you cannot tell what this story is about. It's hard to believe in it, obviously. It's stupid, obviously. It's a lie, obviously. And don't try, obviously. I'm by a brother. When those people, brother, they fled, and you know, they are a very massive, brother, and they have a special look, brother.
Bakhtari camels, the Bactrian camels, the camels that have these U-shaped necks, there will be birds like this. Massive birds will come, maybe Tayran Ababil, something like this. They will take them and then throw them wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills.
We just saw Muhammad saying that Allah will give Jesus, or Jesus will come with a chemical weapon and he will kill them by the wind. Now we have a flying camels. I mean, can this Muhammad make the end the same end in the one movie? I mean, is he going to kill them by the wind or by flying camels? So brother, and look, he is taking boogers from his nose, you know, this because this is a deep topic, you know, you have to dig. You have to dig harder. Did we just show you that Jesus will kill them by the wind? Anyone who smell it, he is a kafir, he will die. Now, there's a flying camels. Flying what? Brother, true story. I'm telling you, this is story. It's true story.
Allah will send a disease against them that will attack their necks, and they will die the death of one person.
Look, what the heck? So the story about the wind is a lie. Brother, Allah will send a disease will attack their neck. I thought they don't have neck. As I know they have a nickname, but they don't have a neck. Since when they have a neck? So one story, Jesus will kill them by the wind, by the gas. They will smell it and they will die. You know, like, okay, Jesus, what you did? I have to use you know, like spray from Walmart, you know, and all, because those are the same as mosquitoes, brother. Okay, so you know, from Walmart, $5. The whole army. You know, that's the whole army. You know, you know, all of them they die. Like they die like one, as if they are one man. All of them they die in the same second. Did you hear? Did you hear what she just said? They die as one man. All of them they die in the same moment, in the same second. True story. And they are by trillions.
When one of them dies, all of them die.
This is exactly what happened in the movie The Lord of the Ring. When the guy is like a ghost, like, you know, he is the, when this woman, she killed him, he said to her, I cannot be killed by a man. The woman, she take her mask and she say, you idiot, I am a woman. And she gave him the screwdriver in his eyes. And the guy, he died, and then the whole army died, brother. This is the Lord of the Ring. I don't want to put the movie there. He killed all of them. They die in 1 second, one time. I mean, what about like 2 minutes, 3 minutes after, 5 minutes? No, the same. When one of them, all of them did die in the same time, brother. True story, brother. I can't describe for you how beautiful this story.
When one of them dies, all of them die. It is a simultaneous death. The death of one person. These billions or millions or hundreds of millions of people, they will die instantaneously, the death of one person. The death of one person, and then this man will come out. The hadith goes on the back to the one that I mentioned. The man will come out terrified, scared. He will...
Oh, yeah. What we can do. What we can do. What we can do. We have to admit this is true story. It's a proven to be accurate. It's supported by many advanced reference, and is truthful.
And we have to be honest and frank and not pretend as if this doesn't exist. Perhaps some of you are not accustomed to hearing people speak like this, but my philosophy is different. We are dealing with a crisis of people leaving our faith, our own children, our own young men and women.
And I wonder why those people are leaving their faith. I mean, first of all, this is a story. It is very logical. It is very true. And it is amazing.
If not the most problematic of the signs of Judgment Day. And it has caused many of our youth to question, to doubt.
And now you solve the problem.
Crisis of people leaving our faith, our own children.
Let us go a little bit here.
Our classical and middle ages of Islam. If you look at any book of tafsir, any book of history, the notion was the following. Ya'juj and Ma'juj are a bizarre, exotic tribe in the nether regions of the world.
You know, by the way, I was from exotic tribe. You know? I have a cousin, he is from exotic tribe too. His tribe is called Shrimp. So, you know, like we are very exotic. And that's why, I mean, that's an exotic tribe. What the heck is that?
To this day, behind the wall that was built 4,000, 5,000 years ago, that wall miraculously is still there. People can see on the one side, and on the other side, you have these savages that Allah knows how they're eating, drinking, replicating, whatnot, and they're still there for eons and eons and eons. Dare I say, anybody who knows science and geography and modern civilization, you cannot believe that there is a tribe for 4,000 years trapped behind a wall. I mean, if you believe this, that's your position. I cannot believe it.
To make it simple, he having difficulty to explain. If you believe in this, that means you are shish kebab. Okay? Yasir Qadhi is saying he don't believe in the Quran because this is what Muhammad said, and this is what the Quran is saying. And yet, and this is why I said Yasir Qadhi, he left Islam. It's in front of you. If you believe in this, you describe yourself. He himself, I cannot believe in this. He said that. Did he say that, guys?
If you believe this, that's your position. I cannot believe it. I cannot.
I cannot. I cannot. Mr. Lut, he said he's a Muslim. He says, how much the kuffar they pay you so you can pay the hookers. Lut, I don't know what your mom told you, but it was for free. Secondly, as long you are talking about hookers, don't you know that the Quran says you can be a pimp and Muslim women, they can work as hookers? And this is in the chapter of Al-Ahzab. And this is the verse in the front of you. أولاد البغاء يا غوايا أنتم من بني شمر أم من الشوايا. أنتم من بني قريش أم البلايا. Isn't it this is your Quran saying you can work as a pimp? Chapter 24, verse number 33. Let us go back to Yasir Qadhi and forget about Lut, who his mother obviously she claimed that she got paid from me. He is saying, why the kuffar, how much they are paying you? So you can get hookers. My friend, trust me, if I say Shahada, the hookers will come like crazy. Isn't it your prophet? He promised me 72 hookers at least. At least. And whatever I wish. What if I wish your wife? No, forget about her. You touch her before me. Unbelievable. No way. So look at this. We have a garbage religion. And this poor person, he's trying to fix it. But you cannot fix it. It's too stupid. It is too dummy. It's so crazy. Do you believe it? I don't believe it.
For thousands of years, and by the way, no human structure is that fortified for 4,000 or 5,000 years that nothing happens to it. Even the Great Wall of China needs to be built up or whatnot. I mean, it doesn't work that way. But anyway.
This guy, he just gave a screwdriver in the butt of Muhammad. No structure can stay. And he will say, I am an engineer. There's no structure can stay there for thousands of years. Which means he is saying the Quran is a lie. The Quran is a lie. Because this is in the Quran. من كل حدب ينسلون. This is Quran. This is the chapter of Al-Anbiya, verse number 96. He just said that is impossible. Not only he said he don't believe in it. He said there is no dam can still be located. And not to forget to mention, and if it is, we will find it, we will see it. Especially the Quran clearly saying that this is something exists in the top of the earth. This is the verse, chapter 21, verse number 96, speaking about Gog and Magog by name. So you cannot guess, you cannot say, oh, maybe this is it says, حتى إذا فتحت يأجوج ومأجوج وهم من كل حدب ينسلون. And when Gog and Magog open, they will come like waves, like, when you like you have a dam, exactly, and then the water start coming over the flood, and then the dam start collapsing and the water start coming so crazy. This is exactly how the Quran describes it. They will come in swarms. They will come like waves of water, of lactose. Billions. And actually in his video he described how their numbers multiply so fast. They are so huge in number. Where are they? If we are 7 billion, Yasir Qadhi says, they are maybe now trillions. Embarrassing questions, embarrassing answers, embarrassing religion, and their sheikhs don't want to believe in it no more. Those are their sheikhs. Holes in the narrative is not the case no more. We are looking for holes in the wall.
If you believe, and anyway, so this is what can
what I can say, brother, what I can say, what you can say, I cannot say. Can you say? I cannot say. What you say, I say what you say. And everybody say what he say, and I don't say what you say, and you don't say what I say. And now we end, by saying Allah knows best, and that will solve all the problem, brother. Okay, Allah knows best, And if you see the Muslim comment under the video, you will die laughing. Actually, one of them, he says, I'm very sad to hear what you are saying. Why you are very sad? Why? Why? All right. I'm not sure where in the video he says the numbers.
And whatnot, where they say Dajjal and Ya'juj and Ma'juj are symbolic.
Now he is trying to say to you how some Muslim try to fix it, and they lie, saying things is not true, saying this is symbolic.
In the 60s and whatnot, where they say Dajjal and Ya'juj and Ma'juj are symbolic. I admire the fact they're trying to salvage the tradition, because they understand that mainstream interpretation doesn't make sense. Another group says, and this is something that I have heard myself, some ulama say, that perhaps Ya'juj and Ma'juj are not on earth but under earth. That's why the satellites haven't discovered them.
True, brother. Brother, the reason satellite did not see them, because they are under the ground, in the basement. Specifically in the White House under Joe Biden. Actually, if you notice, Joe Biden, he got a basement, very big basement. CIA will not tell us why Joe Biden he have this big basement. Obviously, this is where the American, they are hiding Gog and Magog. And now all of us, we knew that the satellite in the world owned by the Jews, Jack Shalom, he owned them all, And yes, Saudi Arabia, they have satellite now, but the satellite is made by the Jews anyway. They will not function right, They made them go blind in that spot, like where the Gog and Magog they are hiding. And even the Russian are kuffar. They are, you know, Christian. And what about the Chinese communists, brother? Conspiracy against Islam. All of us, we knew that they are the enemy of Allah. Okay, what about Emirat? They have satellite. Emirat, kuffar. Don't you see women in bikini? A'udhu billah. Okay. What about brother? Don't tell me what about. They are under the ground and they are symbolic.
Again, I appreciate the salvaging, I really do. But how can human beings survive? No vegetation, no plants with the sun, no oxygen.
What's wrong with you? Walmart have Pepsi Cola, have food, have sandwiches, have milk. What do you mean? You know, they go at night, they open the, you know, the from the high, you know the thing in Walmart, and they take the food, and that's why Walmart, there's many stores are getting bankruptcy. We go to Walmart, you know, we find the shelves empty. Walmart, the manager, he said, Subhanallah, we put it in the morning, at night, you know, before we sleep, we stock the shelves. We come in the morning, all the shelves is gone. So this is a false excuse that how they can survive. It's very easy. We have Pepsi, we have hummus, we have, you know, not like the old days they have to go and, you know, now you go to the supermarket. So you live in the ground or not, who care? And those, you know, now, by the way, those people, they can call online and get delivery for, you know, to enter the ground.
But how can human beings survive? No vegetation, no...
You idiot, they are not a human being. What a human being? Have you ever heard of a human being, he sleep inside his ear? Continue.
No plants with the sun, no oxygen, food, drink, thousands of years. And according to these traditions, we're talking about gazillions of people.
Zillions. I like it, the zillion thing. You know, the zillion? By the way, the zillion is like more than one person, you know, like this is like a trillion of the zillion. The zillion of people. First of all, they can use compressed food. They can use dry vegetables. They can get a dry hummus. They can get dry sardine. And actually, I heard that in Indonesia, okay, hold on. You know that because Indonesian is my first language, as you know, the Muslim, they will make a video, Christian Prince saying Indonesian is first language. Okay, hold on. Okay. We were able to find one of them in Indonesia from the people of Gog and Magog. All right? He tried to fool us, and he is trying to grow a beard because he wants us to think that he is not from Gog and Magog. Look at this beard. See? In the originator picture, there is no beard. Here he is putting fertilizer and working hard to grow. Look at this beard. I mean, for the sake of the shin of Allah, do you have to grow a beard? What is this? Is that really a beard? What is that here? Look at those people, you know. Those are the ustads of Indonesia. Those are the scholars, supposedly. Aman Rabbi, Aman. It's the end of the time, brother. If those are the scholars, what is about the idiot? Those are the scholars? That's deep. Ustad Kondang, Indonesia. Ah, this is Kondang. Sorry, I thought he's Ustad. It turned to be his Kondang. How I know? You know? How I know? So thank you for telling me that they are Kondang. I thought, you know, I don't know. And you know, hey, you know, like, and you look, they are shaking hands. What is the stars of Indonesia? Are you going to tell the people about the stupid story and what Yasir Qadhi he just said? Huh? This guy, the first guy I showed you his picture, he take $5,000 to make a speech. I mean, Islam is not a business. Just $5,000. I mean, come on, you know that life is expensive in Indonesia. So you have to make living. $5,000 is nothing. You know, in Indonesia. Actually, is this after discount, brother? Yeah, great business. Kondang is famous. I don't know. I thought it says dong. Okay. Okay, so I thought so. I don't know, because you know, like, are you there? Indonesia Ustaz debate you in Arab language. Do you see those idiots? They speak Arabic. I will shave my 25 meter beard if one of them speak Arabic. Those that speak Arabic in front of you, like the Sheikh Uthman, who the Muslims are making fun of him. Go and watch the videos of Muslim making this guy. He add words, he add sentence, the Quran. You don't know Arabic. And my friend, I will debate Muslims in any language. Why you don't call him right now and call me in Skype? I can take you right now for a snack, you and them. The question is, do your ustaz there? So I want you to do this. Tell them the Christian Prince, he says, who there? In Arabic, you know, Arabic, that will be even better. Do you remember, guys, those guys from Philippines? Kif halak? Said Abdul, come on, let us start. Kif halak, salamu alaikum, kif halak, kif, no, he said, kif halik, kif halik. You know, in Arabic, you say halik for a female. Kif halik, supposedly you speak Arabic, you know, it's Abdul, you don't know Arabic, come on, just let us talk, you know. Those people don't, like Ultimate Fort, he called me, he do not know a single Arabic word. A single Arabic word. How the Muslim they read Arabic? Very simple. Here we go. You go here, go to the Muslim website. This is the verse. You go to something called translation. Translate what? Translation. Variation. Translation. You see it? 1 and 2. And that will make you speak Arabic without knowing Arabic. Ina fila hada لبلاغا لقوم عابدين. Abdul, do you speak Arabic? Yes, brother, I speak Arabic. Don't you hear me? Look. وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. Huh? See? So like you don't know what they are reading. You think this is Arabic. And that's what every single Muslim he called me when I play the game, he knew Arabic. You read this. They don't know Arabic. Your prophet himself did not know how to read his name. I will tell you this true story. Once I put the name of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the name of the Antichrist, peace be upon him. And I said to him, Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, you are prophet. Which one is your name? You believe it or not? He was smarter than me, and he said both. I cannot differentiate between hand and power. Where is that? Which verse? Muhammad Babali. Hey guys, Muhammad Babali, he got me busted. I cannot differentiate between hand and power. Can you give me the verse name, Mr. Babali? In front of everybody, if you can give me the verse, and you are right, I will say I do not know how to differentiate. You see, I just put your text in the screen. You are from Indonesia, right? Muhammad Babili. We will make you famous in Indonesia. You guys, don't ask me a question. Don't you see a Muslim, he got me busted. Now what we will do? Very embarrassing, you know. This guy will go around, he will tell everybody now. Please don't download this video, hide it. Don't share it with the Muslims. Abdul, I'm waiting for you. Muhammad Babili. Either you get the verse from your belly or I will grab it from your ass. Give me the verse. I'm waiting. Mr. Billy. Hello. Mohammed Billy is calling his friends. Cannot remember verse, but the word. I mean, the stupid idiot, he just wrote the word hand. Obviously, he didn't speak. Are you sure you are a Muslim? Why you don't call me? He cannot even remember the verse. Abdul, there's a video of a guy, his name is Fifi. He says that this is the verse mean hands. Go and watch it. Stupid people. Oh. You know, when a Muhammadan he make a statement, I have to laugh because the one who is talking, he don't speak Arabic, and the one who speak Arabic, he agree with me in their videos. Brother and sister, this verse here, brother, it says that Allah did not build it with hand, He built it with power. Yeah, this is why Yasir Qadhi, he said that Yusuf Ali, he don't even speak Arabic, yet he translated the Quran. Did you hear him? And this is what happened with your ignorance. In Arabic it says بِأَيْدٍ بِأَيْدٍ, not by help, because if this is by help, that will make Allah is seeking help of somebody. So the Muslim, they say, and the verse is speaking clearly about constructing the heaven. And look what happened. Where is even the power? Is gone in translation. With power did we constructed the heaven. Oh, power. But if we take the word to the dictionary, and we check it out, actually we can go to Google translation. Hold on, that's easier, and I will do it in front of you. Why Google will lie? Here we go. I will copy the word. I will take it to Google, and everybody will laugh at you in a second. Do you see it?
بأيدٍ.
Did you hear it? بأيدٍ, you donkey.
By hand.
This is why Yasir Qadhi, he said, he was speaking about Yusuf Ali translating the Quran. He said this guy don't even speak Arabic. You don't what? The guy who translated the Quran, the most famous translator for the Quran, the Imam, the Sheikh, the scholar, he do not know Arabic? Yes, brother.
That we know a lot about Alexander the Great. We know a lot about him. And he was not a believer in Allah, he was a pagan. He worshipped the idols. And Allah praises Dhul Qarnayn as being a worshipper. And Allah...
See, the Muslims, they are in struggle. Dhul Qarnayn, how Dhul Qarnayn became Alexander the Great? You stupid idiot. Even your interpretation says this is not the mistake of Yusuf Ali. Your interpretation says that he is the one who built the city of Alexandria. You see how we laugh and we laugh?
Allah praises Dhul Qarnayn as being a righteous person, and Allah never praises paganism, and Allah never kind of spread amongst the masses. And this is what happens, subhanAllah, how thoughts spread even if they're incorrect. And so many people thought Dhul Qarnayn is Alexander. Translation went viral, and in his translation and his commentary, he mentions that Dhul Qarnayn is, who does he mention? Alexander. All of Yusuf Ali couldn't speak Arabic properly. Yusuf Ali couldn't speak Arabic properly. There's another point. He played Yusuf Ali couldn't speak Arabic properly. That had the most impact, even though, long story, but it wasn't very accurate. Number one. Number two, can you believe, this is a completely tangent, Abdul Yusuf Ali couldn't speak Arabic properly. There's another.
Muhammad Yusuf Ali, he could not speak Arabic properly, and he is the most famous translator for the Quran. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Who is translating the Quran for you? And the one you call them scholars? The most famous translator for the Quran. He don't speak Arabic properly. You do not know Arabic like Sheikh Uthman, who claimed to be Sheikh, and he have a master degree in Hadith. How does guy here get master degree in Hadith when he cannot read it? So people, the video is there. Go watch it. You can do anything as you wish for the video. It is hilarious. I believe this is a very important video. I believe it is a must, even to save it as a Christian. Save it, the whole video of Yasir Qadhi, and see and show your friends how even Muslims, this is their sheikh, this is in their mosque. You see here it says the epic masjid. This is a masjid, epic masjid. This is not YouTube. This is their sheikh. And he is there behind the table because he got his position, supposedly, of knowledge. And your sheikh is making fun of the stupid cult of Muhammad. And then the Muslim kids who suffer from the stupidity of Islam, they try to fight it by saying stupid things. And they think by saying stupid things, they make Islam smarter.
Who cares with your little brain? Who are you with your little brain to try to understand these things? How dare you? You don't know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. Why does it always have to be logical?
This isn't normal. This isn't rational.
If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said it, if his messenger said that's what it is, that is what it is.
If Allah said so, and this is what it is, the other guy saying this is not rational. Hey, cartoon worshippers, black stone kissers, the Lord of the Ring followers, let us do jihad, brother, and find the people of Gog and Magog. And by the way, I did not mention the filthy racist Mohammed, who he claimed that Gog and Magog are Asian, who he claimed that even the Turkish, they are from Gog and Magog. And the funny, this guy is from Turkey. I think he's a Kurdish originally. This is how stupid this religion is. I'm not going to keep you longer. This video will not stay in my channel. There's going to be enlisted link for those who are they knew where to find my links. They can click there and they can get it. So until we see you again, and you can download it. Until we see you again, guys, I want to say thank you very much for not supporting. Thank you very much for not giving like. Thank you very much for not sharing. Thank you very much for not helping. We appreciate you. I mean, Gog and Magog, they might do better. The funny is, my videos in Indonesian language, they have 300,000, 500,000, 700,000, 900,000, a million. Here, those Christians, we hardly get 13,000. I mean, they are amazing. Their support is beyond imagination. Brother, they work by the power of Allah, and this is why they are not functioning correctly. Their battery is not functioning, and they are doing the work like this. A Christian person, he come to the channel here, he says, Inshallah, I'm going to give you a like. Inshallah, we will support you. Inshallah, we will get back Jerusalem. Inshallah, we will take the Rome. And this why never happened, because the Christians these days, they are like the Muslims. They say Inshallah, they don't do it. And the result of that, nothing can be done. This is Islam, my friend. You are not Muslims. Inshallah doesn't work. It doesn't. For there is no Allah, and there is no His will. As you see, Allah is a joke, is a fairy tale story person. Time to do streaming Indonesian language. Yeah, but I forgot my Indonesian language. Did I tell you that? You know, like this is a different story. But what happened, you know, when I used to have 13 wives, I used to be a prophet, you know. This is why they call me an Arabian prophet. I used to be a prophet in old days. And then what happened, I have 13 wives. One of them, his name is, Hafsa. The other one, her name is Aisha. They start fighting. Hafsa, she throw her shoes at Aisha. Aisha is so short. I mean, she's a kid. And her shoe, the shoes of Hafsa, she hit my head. She was wearing high heels, very long, almost 10-inch high heels. It went from here, came from here. And this is exactly how I lost my memory in the Indonesian language. And by the way, this is a true story. And yes, I don't have witnesses for it. But Muslims, they have no witnesses for anything. Who need witnesses these days? All what you need, the Prophet said and Allah said, Ya'juj wa Ma'juj are coming to you. Ya'juj wa Ma'juj in town. Okay? They are coming for you. And if you don't believe me, watch the coming video of Joe Biden. You know the thing. He will explain it.
But I mean, again, he doesn't know who Gabriel is, right? Because he didn't come from an Abrahamic faith. The people of Mecca were pagan.
Quran is mentioned. If this book was from other than God, they would have found in it many contradictions.
If a book is without contradictions, that has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them.
That we believe without understanding.
The brother asked a very important question, that most of the scholars say that listening to music, watching movies, and most of the television programs, they're haram. So how can we have fun? Let me tell you, brother, at the outset that having fun is permitted in Islam as long as the fun is halal fun.
That the standard narrative has holes in it.
The Prophet tells us because Satan or the devil sleeps over our nostrils. Those who oversleep and not pray Fajr on time, Satan urinates in their ears.
I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried. He thought that he was a son of God in the sense that he was specially chosen by God. I think Jesus really did think he was going to be the Messiah, the future king of Israel. I mean, that is, after all, why they crucified him.